Hello guys, welcome to Technological where you grow with knowledge. In last video we saw how to set up your Jupyter Notebook to get started with Python programming. If you haven't gone through that, here is the link to the video. Today we will be working with Jupyter Notebook and we'll learn some of the basic programming stuff to get going with Python. So without wasting any more time, let's start this session. In the previous video we had talked about using Python notebooks on Google Colab and Kaggle. Today, we will be using Anaconda platform for all our hands-on exercises. Let's open Anaconda Navigator. So if you have already installed Anaconda, just go to the search box, type Anaconda, and you will have Anaconda Navigator link there. Just click on that. In Anaconda Navigator, you can see there are many different IDEs. We are going to work with Jupyter Notebook. So let's click on Launch for Jupyter Notebook here. This will launch Jupyter Notebook in your default browser and open the navigation tree. If you want to work with an existing notebook, navigate to that and click to open the notebook in the new tab. If you want to create a new notebook, click on New and select Python 3. This will open a fresh empty notebook in a new tab. Now you are all set to start coding in Python. Now let's quickly get familiar with Jupyter Notebook. Each rectangular section where we write code or text is called a cell. To execute a cell, we need to press Shift plus Enter. This executes the cell as well as creates a new empty cell for next line of code. Let's see the magic of Jupyter Notebook by putting the Python logo on top of our notebook. So for that, let me open a new tab and go to Python's official website, that is python.org. On the left hand side on the top, you can see the Python logo. Right click on that and copy image address. Let's go back to our Jupyter Notebook. Now you need to change the cell type to Markdown. This drop down right here allows you to change the cell type. So generally it will be code because you are going to write Python code in that cell. If you want to use any HTML tags or if you want to put some documentation or rich text, you need to choose that cell type as Markdown. Now in this cell I'm going to use image HTML tag, that is img, and then I'm going to give source src is equal to double quotes and the URL that we have just copied. So paste it here, close double quotes and close the tag as well. Now to execute this Markdown cell as well, you need to hit Shift plus Enter. And as you see, we have this Python logo right here in our Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter Notebook also allows you to document relevant things along with your code for better readability of the code. The cell type for documentation purpose also remains Markdown. If you want to write some text as heading, you can use hash symbol followed by a space and the text. You can have 5 different heading sizes, actually 4 different heading sizes, and the 5th one is the smallest and italic. So let me change the cell type to Markdown again and use a single hash followed by space and text. So this is heading 1. Then you can hit enter to create the second heading. Then like that the third one, the fourth one, and finally if I want to use the 5th heading, that is 5 hashes, this will be same as the size of the heading will be same as heading 4, but it will be italic. So it will be like that. So the Jupyter Notebook allows you to use all these type of rich text. So if you want to create some list here, so you can use asterisk and item 1 like that, then hit enter, use another asterisk, item 2. So this will create a bulleted list right here in your notebook. Now, beginning with the programming, we can easily do some very basic stuff like adding two numbers. So if I have number 10 and I want to add it with 20, so I'll say 10 plus 20. To execute the cell, again use shift enter. This will show you the output as 30. Similarly, you can subtract two numbers like 10 minus 5, hit shift enter. There you see the output. A cell is not limited to one single line of code. In one cell you can write multiple lines of code. So let's use multiplication and division in the same cell. So multiply 10 by 3. Just hit enter to go to the next line in the same cell and divide 10 by 2. Execute the cell by shift enter. Now here one interesting thing that you can notice is the output is only shown for the last command, that is the division. We do not see the output for the multiplication. This is because Python by default displays the output of the last command. However, if you want to display the output for both commands here, you need to use print function. So let me put print in action here. I'm going to use print with both these commands and then execute the cell. This way you will be able to see both outputs in the notebook itself. Now let's talk about variables in programming languages. Variables are the placeholders in memory of the machine. Whenever we create a variable, memory is allocated for that, with variable name serving as an identifier for this memory. Creating a variable is extremely easy in Python. We just need to choose a meaningful name for it and then assign a value to initialize the variable. So let's create a variable called num and assign the value 10 to this variable. The equal to sign works as the assignment operator. Now let's try printing the value of this variable num with some text. So first execute this cell to complete the assignment. Now in the next cell I'm going to use print the value of num is, and to separate this string from variable I'm going to use a comma, and then we need to call the variable name. So this is how it is going to print the literal value, the value of num is, and the value of the num variable. One thing to notice here is how the string has been used. The string, the value of num is, has been enclosed in double quotes. So in Python, if you want to use any string, whether it is a single character or multi characters long, you can enclose it with single quotes or double quotes. They both are allowed and both are supported. Now let me create a variable which holds a string as a value. So let me create a variable name greeting and assign it a value in single quotes. Welcome to Python. Execute the cell to assign the value. I'm going to create another variable called message, and now I will use double quotes to assign a value to message variable, saying this is the second video in series. Execute this cell as well to assign the value. Now let's try printing both these variables. So use print function and provide variable name. Hit enter to continue in the same cell. Use print function again and use provide message variable as argument. Hit shift enter, and there you see. So the strings are again printed as we had given them to the variables. It can be in single quotes, it can be in the double quotes. Now I want to display a message saying let's learn together. So let me convert this cell to Markdown and show what do I want to print. So I want to print a message where a single quote is part of my string. That means the apostrophe is going to work as the single quote. So if I'm going to enclose my string with single quotes, means starting marking the start of the string with a single quote and ending the string with a single quote, then Python will throw a syntax error because my string itself contains a single quote. So let me create a variable called sentence1 and assign this string in single quotes to variable sentence1. So if you see, this part is not being considered as part of a string because uh, I'm making the start of a string with a single quote. So as soon as Python encounters the second single quote, it will mark the end of the string, and the rest of the string will cause an error to the code. So let me execute this and show you how it is going to throw an error. So to overcome such situations, whenever your string contains a single quote, you must use double quotes to mark the start and end of the string. This way, Python knows that you have started your string from double quote, then it will end at the double quote. If any single quote is found in between, that will not mark the end of the string. So if I execute this cell now, it will be absolutely fine. So let me print this sentence1 as well. So you see that single quote is still part of the string and it is printed as it is. Similarly, if a double quote is part of the string, make sure that you enclose your string within single quotes. Like if I have a variable called sentence2 and I want to print something like welcome to Python, but Python is going to be in double quotes, so I want to print Python in double quotes. So make sure that you enclose this within single quotes. This way, Python will mark the start of the string at single quote and end at the single quote. So execute this cell and print sentence2 variable. This will be printed as it is. I wanted to display Python in double quotes, and that is what I have done. So now we have a situation where we want to print a string which contains single quotes as well as double quotes. Something like let me create a markdown cell and display what I want to print. So I want to print let's learn Python in double quotes together. So this string right here has a single quote as apostrophe and double quotes for Python. So in this situation, you can actually use either a single quote to start and end the string or a double quote to start and end the string. But make sure whichever quote you are going to use for starting and ending the string, if that quote is present as part of the string, use a escape character in front of that. So in Python, the escape character is backslash. So let me show how does it work. So I'm going to create another variable called sentence3 and assign this. I'm going to use single quote first here. So single quote and then use the same string which I'm going to print here. Let's learn in double quotes Python together. Now let me end this string with a single quote right here. So now my string is starting with a single quote here and it is ending with a single quote here, and it also contains a single quote in between. So I must use an escape character right before the single quote which is part of the string. So let me put a backslash in front of this. Now this whole string will work as a single string and will not be separated because of any single quote or double quote which is part of the string. So let me execute this and print this variable sentence3, and this is what I exactly wanted to print. Similarly, I can enclose my string in double quote starting with double quote and ending with double quote. In that case, to escape any double quotes which are part of the string, I need to put a backslash, that is the escape character, in front of all the double quotes which are part of string. Now this will work exactly the same way. Let's print it. So this is how you are going to use escape character if you want to have a single quote or double quote as part of your string. The last thing with strings is how to deal with multi-line strings, like a poetry, a song, or a passage. If I want to print something like, let me create another markdown and show what do I want to print. So suppose in first line I want to print hello, how are you, and in the second line I want to print the response. So this is what I want to print in 2 lines. This is going to be one single text, and this is going to be one single variable, but I want to display it in 2 different lines. So to do that in Python, you are going to use either 3 single quotes or 3 double quotes to start the string, and 3 single quotes or 3 double quotes to end the string. So let me create a variable sentence4 and use 3 single quotes, and then the first sentence that I want to print here. Hello, how are you? And then the next line I want in the next line actually, so I'll hit enter so that it goes to the next line. I'm good, thank you. So let's execute this cell. The value, this multi-line string has been assigned to sentence 4. So if I print this sentence 4, we will see the output. This is exactly what I wanted to print, and this is how exactly I wanted to print. So there's another way of doing this, but that is a little challenging because you are going to decide where the line is going to separate, which part of the text you are going to put the new line character. So that is a little challenging, but yes, that is possible. So guys, I hope you understood the concepts in this video. Please try to practice on any of the online notebooks or local notebook if available. The aim is to enable everyone with technical knowledge. Before signing off, please do subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next videos. Please like and comment to let me know how did you find this video. Happy learning. Thank you.